Should we get started? The camera's getting you right here. You know that, right?
It's making my boobs look like pillars.
You look beautiful the way it is. I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, I don't want to give them a mouthful of bosom.
They probably wouldn't mind.
I don't want nobody to leave their wife because mine is so awesome. Is that better?
It is better. I've been watching what you do for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I remember seeing you do was VH1 or PBS with Wynonna. The choreography, I'd listen to the words you did, when you came in, when you came out, when you did your solos. I've got it all down. I really do. And I don't mean to surprise you, but that's what I've been watching. And it was hugely influential.
That'll be 20 something years because my almost 30 years. Because I started with her 92. I was coming out of theater when I got Wynonna, but I started with Amy Grant, my first pro tour. But my first travel out of town was Jubilee Singers, and then I did a show called Bobby Jones Gospel while I was singing and dancing at Opryland. And I met Tony Brown, and Tony Brown is the one who introduced me to Wynonna. Tony Brown was one of the background singers for Elvis Presley. And he was a big record exec at RCA, I think it was. I want to say RCA. And I used to sing for him all the time. So he tried me out with Olivia Newton-John. He tried me out with Lyle Lovett, and my voice wasn't thick enough for Lyle Lovett. But in the meantime, he was producing a record on Dr. Jones, and he had me to audition for Wynonna, and the rest is history. So I was the first one. There's a lot of people who say they sing with Wynonna, but I was the very, very first one.
You know, we know that about you. We've seen you on all the shows, all the TV shows, late night, and all the TV specials. Your show in Venice and all that great stuff you did. But where do you come from?
Where do you come from, baby?
Hey.
So I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. My parents came here to go to school, and they went to college. They went to undergrad together, and then they went to medical school. And they sing. All my family sings, but medicine is their thing. And I was the only one who took music seriously. So I listened to quite a bit of diverse music: jazz, R&B, gospel. I love classical music, but it wasn't pop as we know it today. The most pop was like the Beatles and the Everly Brothers, maybe.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got an education yourself, following in your family's footsteps. Could you tell me about your education?
There was a lot of civil rights stuff going on back then, so we would get on the playground and we would sing, R&B tunes and those tunes that had to do with civil rights and stuff. And we raised money to go to Washington, D.C. Through a talent show that was at St. Vincent. And we actually got to visit Watergate. That's telling how old I am. Back then. And then I went to an all-girls school called St. Cecilia, and they used to take me out of class to do special events. So there's where I went into Tennessee Oral State Chorus, and I got my first record deal at 15. I didn't follow through with it because my parents were so strict about education. But I knew then that I wanted to be a professional. So then from there, I went to public school 1 year, and from public school, I went to Fisk University. And while I was at Fisk, that's when I was singing and dancing at Opryland, and I auditioned for the Fisk Jubilee Singers, and I just kind of got groomed for what I do now. I was singing with Dr. Jones then on the side. but I studied classical music. I was studying to be an opera singer, but I was too chicken to go to Europe, which is ironic because I still ended up going on the road with Amy. I dropped out of school and went on the road with Amy. So yeah, I went to, and went on my hiatus. I went to Belmont College, and then I finally finished at Tennessee State University. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so I'm educated.
So who were you really influenced by?
You mean in my family or just out in the world? Recordings and
Whoever
artists.
influenced you.
I started out when we were little. Excuse me, I got my babies here scratching. We listened to a lot of Dionne Warwick and Nancy Wilson and Aretha Franklin and Leslie Uggams. But I also loved opera. So I listened to a lot of Leontine Price, Kathleen Battle. And the jazz thing, I used to listen to Carmen McRae and Sarah Vaughan. I like Shirley Horn. And on Broadway, I listened to Melba Moore, Stephanie Mills. I knew I wanted to do Broadway when I went to see Dreamgirls. The one that really, really resonates with me is Chaka Khan and Oleta Adams. There's a lady named Rachel Farrell that's got a beautiful voice. There are a few ladies that touch me in places that other singers don't, because everybody sings, you know, everybody sings or tries to sing, some better than others. And one of the most profound is Barbra Streisand. Hands down, she's just a magnificent. I can't really describe Barbra Streisand and how she affects me. I
think of you as one of the premier singers all around, and for someone that does it as a profession and isn't necessarily falling on some name or celebrity, you actually have to do it and have to be able to be great at what you do. So to be able to get your opinion about who a great singer is, that's the opinion that matters to me, and that's the opinion that I believe.
There's some that just stand out, and I listen to, like when Shirley Horn sings Time, she's got a song called Time. And when she sings, it's like the earth stands still. And there's not a whole lot of acrobatics to it. There's not a lot of twists and turns. She just sits on the note. And when she sits on the note, she tells a story, and the room just resonates. It's very moving. And I want to move people when I deliver a song. Because I don't do a whole lot of hooping and hollering and stuff like that, but I do emit passion. And so when given the right setup, you know, like I don't have to compete against the electricity of the guitars or the horns, when it's just kind of me and a piano. And I can talk to the people with my voice, you know, in the right key, the right song, all that kind of stuff. Then it's magical for me and it's easy for me. And then I feel like I'm walking with God through the song, no matter what the song is. It's like me and God, and we're touching the people.
To get a footing in Nashville and to gain confidence in the business of Nashville, in your profession, what kind of a learning curve was that for you personally, to be able to say, okay, I got this, I know how this business works, and I'm going to work back and I'm going to make it work for me?
First of all, attitude. Well, you have to be prepared, but every session is a learning situation. And attitude, it has a whole lot to do with it. You need to be open, because you don't know who you're going to be working with on that session. And so what I do is I really zero in on the producer, because there's going to be a whole lot of talking. Everybody's got ideas.
Right.
But I zoom in on the producer, and I watch his eyes, I watch his expressions, I listen to what he says. And then if someone I'm singing with says something that correlates or is better than, then I tap in. But I get the reaction of the producer. That's one thing. And when I go into a room, I shut my mouth. I don't go in talking and acting crazy and all that, because you have to grace a room. You go in gracefully and you come out gracefully. And you have to have a confidence. When I say confidence is, you got to learn all genres of music. Mm-hmm. And all genres of music have different colors. They have different vibrations. They have different energies. You have to tap into that energy and know when you go in, oh, this is this, oh, this is that. And because I become a chameleon, so I change with the different music. And everybody doesn't know that. Some people are rigid. They can't bend. You got to be flexible if you want to work. Like if you really want to work beyond just this, I got to get called for that. Or no. I want to sing it all. So alternative rock or punk rock or, you know, hip hop or I've even rapped on, believe it or not. That's not my thing, but I've done it because, you know, I wanted to work. So you learn things, you know, because one day you might be doing Zydeco, and one day you might be doing Gregorian chant, and one day you may be doing Disney, and the next day you may be doing a gospel piece. You don't know. And the thing is, you listen to everything so you can keep your chops up, you stay current. But even beyond that, like I just did something not too long ago for Heart, Ann Wilson. And when I went in the room, they asked for a gospel choir. They were doing an Annie Lennox song. She was doing a remake of an Annie Lennox song, but she wanted a gospel choir. Well, it wasn't so much that they wanted church. They wanted the fullness of a gospel choir. And then the singers, they were trying to sing church, but the song did not say church. The song was rock and roll. You have to know Ann Wilson. You got to know Annie Lennox. Mm-hmm. You got to know how they do their thing. And then you take that choir sound and you go that direction. All of that comes from experience. So when I went into the room, all these producers, and they're, oh, wow, well, Kim is here. I feel good about it. Well, it's not so much that, but I was familiar with them, and I knew they knew that I knew. I knew that they knew that I knew what they wanted. When someone has written a song, you go in there and you sing that song like it is going to be a triple platinum hit. It can be the worst song in the world, but that's none of your business. You go in there and you sing your ass off. Mm-hmm. And you make that person feel good, because what that is their baby that they have birthed from their soul. And what you do is you sing it even better than they even imagined. You see what I'm saying? And you make them feel so good. Yeah. And then they'll call you again. Oh, wow, Kim. Oh, wow. Did you hear? You know what I'm saying? So you leave them wanting more. You don't, because what Maya Angelou says about a person is, you know, it's how a person makes you feel. Mm-hmm. Is what they will always remember.
No, you answered it. I just wondered, you know, how you made the business work for you and how you learned to maneuver through all.
That's how I made it work for me. Was I kept my mouth shut first of all, and I spoke when spoken to. And I mean, and I have a lot of ideas, but like say if I'm in a room with Vicki and Bob, they're gonna talk a lot. I already know that. So I like that. You know what I mean? And then if somebody asks me something, or if they tell me to do something, then I do what so they can hear it. But I also keep my eye on the producer. Being in this business is not about how many swirls and twirls you can do. It's the ability to cross genres. You know what I mean? And having control of your voice, and then establish relationships. It doesn't take anything to smile and say hi. No one's too big to say hi. Smile and say hi.
You mentioned Vicky, and you mentioned Bob, you called him, but Vicky Hampton and Robert Bailey, and that redhead, Wynonna. After all those years, what do you take away from that experience, from working with those three other singers for so long?
Like I say, I was the first one in the house.
Yeah.
And then I called Bob. And I wanted Vicky, but Vicky was busy. Bob would say he called Vicky, but he didn't. I called Vicky, and she was busy. She was, I think, out with Dolly or something like that. No, she was out with Millie Jackson. And anyway, so we got Susie, but our showcase was with, oh Jesus. It was another redhead, and I cannot think of her name right this moment. But at any rate, what do I take away? When Vicky came on board, we settled into a sound. We settled into a sound. And we fed off of each other. And what I took away was a relationship and a telepathic, nonverbal communicative. Well, we know we're going to switch here. We know you're going to sing this. We know, you all in a look. When I first started doing sessions without them, I missed them tremendously because it was harder to get other people to connect with me. Because, Wynonna she's an incredible singer, but I don't think she knows how incredible she is. You throw things at her, and she can really do it, but it'll take a minute for her to get on board. But when she does, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's no one like it. Yep. Wynonna can sing. I'm gonna tell you who else can sing is Trisha Yearwood, and Leanne Rimes is a beast. I'll tell you somebody else who can sing is Vince Gill, and I've sang on several of his records. And I asked him one time, why do you sing country music? And he went on to say that country music never dies, and it tells stories, and the whole lot. But when I tell you that can sing, oh my God. And it is a joy to sing with people who actually are gifted. There's no bells, whistles, gimmicks, tricks.
What are some of the greatest joys and downfalls of being a professional singer?
The joy of being a professional singer is to be able to stand out on the stage after all the work that's put behind it, because people don't really understand the work that goes into the performance, the actual performance. But when you go out on the stage and you are able to do what you're born to do and enjoy what you're doing, there's nothing compares. Even when you have a hiccup, but you can sing through the hiccup, because everybody's so professional that no one knows but you guys that there was a hiccup. You know what I mean? That's when I'm able to fly. I mean, I'm in a whole nother world.
One spot that I see you so clearly hitting that note of, you got to find somebody to love you, and you hit that note at the end.
Oh.
That one?
I don't know if I can remember. Something like that.
Your whole body gets in it in performance, and you find it on YouTube. And and then Vicky goes, Bob goes, and then you hit it at the end, and then you bring it home at the end.
Yes.
I've tried to sing that, because this joy comes in me, and I try to channel this joy and this ability that you have. Of course, I could never hit that, but I can just imagine how it feels to bring a song like that back down to earth after soaring with a note like that.
Those are some of the magical moments on stage. Your other question was, what are some of the downfalls? Not getting a gig or double booking myself. One time I double booked myself, and I wasn't prepared. This is the one and only time ever. But I just kicked myself in the butt because I was overwhelmed. I had so much music and I didn't space it out.
And I want to recognize too, you're not always a background singer. You sing lead, I'm sure, quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know you as this famous background singer, you know, the elite. But what's a misconception or unknown value of the background singing world that people that aren't in the business probably just have never thought of?
They sing the hook, the chorus, and the chorus is what the whole world knows.
Yeah.
I mean, you name any song, most people know the chorus. That's the background part. If you do a Michael Jackson piece or a Patti LaBelle piece where she says get you, da, da. You know, people get, you know, hey sister soul, sister gold, sister soul. You know that.
Yes.
You know that, but you don't know. He met Mama Live down in old New Orleans. Everyone doesn't know all the words. They're gonna miss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the importance of a background singer is, I would say, in my opinion, they're one of the most important parts of the song, because anybody can sing a lead. They may not be able to sing it well, but anybody can sing a lead. Anybody can sing a melody, but everybody cannot sing harmony. So I could be singing with Phil Collins today and Bette Midler tomorrow and Dolly Parton the next. You know, you have to be able to change, and it's specific. All the different nuances, the textures. Some songs call for a whisper, some call for a flat out holler. You know what I mean? There's a whole thing that, and everybody don't do that well. They think they do, but they don't. And if you get to the place where I am, and I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying it in a conceited way. I'm just saying that I worked to get to where I am so that I can be available. If Eric Clapton called me right now, I have my passport in my bag. I got a bag at the door. Send me the music. I can study it on the way to the airport. You see what I'm saying? With confidence.
One of the most impressive things to me is knowing that you're capable, you're flexible, like you said before, and you're ready to move.
Now, I don't do everything because everything's not worth it. You know what I mean? I want to do the best. I did a Reba record maybe a year before last. And when I opened her, she said, come on in here, Kim. Like, Reba remembers my, you know, I've sang on a little record, that fancy, you know, we sang on all that stuff, but she was very personable, you know what I mean? And when the artists know you, they know, they remember that you did something to make their career better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels good to be appreciated. It feels good that you're recognized as a soldier. I know you know the feeling. You know when you've put your soul into something for so many years, and it's left an impression. You know, it's in history now. So to be a part of it, and the Nashville, be a part of the Nashville heritage is it's a blessing, to say the least. It's a blessing. Yeah.
You're a blessing to it also. You know.
Thank you.
This is my last question, because I respect you so much that I would never want to take up more time than I have to. But I think that this is important for you to be able to state your identity amongst everything that you're associated with as a supporter of so many projects and artists. and being a part of different groups, I could possibly imagine it's kind of easy to lose your own unique identity. I have a feeling that you hold on to yours pretty tight. But when you have that moment of clarity and quiet, or maybe at the end of the night, and you're reflecting on who you really are, who is Kim Fleming?
As a human being, I know that God didn't create no junk.
Yes.
So I know that I come from royalty because God is the King of Kings. I see myself, like Lena Horne, or one of those girls back in the 50s, you know, that was so curvaceous and so glamorous, Dorothy Dandridge, those type of girls. Yeah. I always wanted to be like one of those ladies, you know, just class act at the top of the heap. If I could be the movie star that I wanted to be, I think I would have accomplished even greater things. It's not over for me. I'm just in Nashville, and LA is where I've had the opportunity to be. I just was too scared then. Now, I think I would take more risk. One time, Wynonna got to sing before an orchestra, and she was just so freaked out, and I just thought, God, why not me? That was a pun when that wasn't meant to be like that, but
I got it.
Let's switch places.
Yeah.
With her, I would have said, okay, you don't feel like doing it, I'll do it. Because I was in my mind, I was ready. That was the time.
Yeah.
But if he gives me the opportunity, that's, you know, I'm working on a EP now, and I just read something from a note from Naris that was saying this is the time, if you, as an independent artist, to put an EP out there and do what you want to do.
I've enjoyed this so much, and the other day when you called me for the first time, I was sitting in the backyard, and we got off the phone. You know, we speak for 30 seconds, a minute. And I just sat there and I thought, if I could have told my 11, 12-year-old self that Kim Fleming was going to call me because I asked if I could interview her, you know, years later, I probably would never have ever believed it. And so I just, I sat in that moment for a few minutes, and I was just so grateful. And it meant a lot. And for you to make time for me, it's not a passing thing. It's something I'm going to remember and appreciate for a long time. So thank you.
I'm not, you know, I'm just regular. I'm regular unleaded. I'm not, you know.
Not to me. You're pretty damn special to me.
Well, you take care of yourself, okay? All right, and keep in touch. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.